Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and a very warm welcome to Thursday's edition of the DC Universe Daily. On today's show, we discussed the rumours that Ben Affleck could be directing James Gunn's and Peter Safran's DC Universe movie, The Brave and the Bold, which is the first signature Batman movie in the new DC Universe. So where have these rumours stemmed from? Is there any truth to these rumours? Well, where these rumours stem from is a little bit of truth, not necessarily about Ben Affleck directing Brave and the Bold. Now, many weeks ago, Ben Affleck told a fan on Twitter that in fact he had been having discussions with Ben Affleck about directing a DC Universe movie. And that's it. This is where all of this stems from. This is where the rumour comes from. Now, of course, Ben Affleck has got a very good, strong relationship with Warner Brothers Discovery, but he's always had a good relationship with Warner Brothers Pictures. No, he didn't like or approve of what happened with Justice League. He tried to encourage the rest of the cast and crew to walk from that set, and nobody would walk with him. But his problem was with Whedon and not with Warner Brothers Pictures. It's Henry Cavill that seemed to have some kind of issue with Warner Brothers Pictures, and Warner Brothers Pictures, the old leadership, had a problem with Henry. That's why he was never ever going to be in the Flash movie. And when I say never ever, he wasn't. Ben Affleck was in that movie from the very beginning. When Barbara Machete said she was surprised how excited and interested he was in the Flash movie, she was surprised after all his, problems with alcohol. Alcoholism is an illness, and Ben's really struggled with that illness. But thankfully, he's now in remission and really fighting that addiction, which is good for him and his career. And Ben looks in great shape right now. So there could be some truth to the rumor that Ben is directing Brave and the Bold, but he could absolutely be in discussions to direct any movie in DC Universe. In fact, he could even be in discussions to direct James Gunn's Superman Legacy. Don't forget, Christopher Nolan approached him about directing Man of Steel, and Ben rejected doing that film. He didn't feel he was in the right development in his stage of being a director to do the film justice. The same reasoning Christopher Nolan gave for not directing Man of Steel himself. But he was also going to direct his very own Batman movie that he was going to star in as Batfleck. And that film was called The Batman. He was going to write it, he was going to direct it, he was going to star as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And in fact, he was going to be fighting Deathstroke in that movie. And it was going to be a very dark movie. There was going to be a lot of stuff in Arkham Asylum. That was such a huge tragedy that we never saw that movie. So, him doing James Gunn's Batman movie and Peter Safran's Batman movie, we must mention Peter because it is a partnership, and I think some of you out there are actually forgetting that. But yeah, this could be Ben Affleck coming full circle. Now, I don't know, look, that's all I know about that rumour. I don't know how much truth there is to it. So there's a huge possibility that Ben Affleck could be directing Brave and the Bold, but he could be in discussions to direct anything. But as I say, this would be full circle for Ben Affleck because he lost the chance of doing his own Batman movie. They went from having Ben writing, directing and starring in that movie to asking Matt Reeves in doing it. And out of respect for Ben's what the plans Ben had, Matt said, no, I am not touching Ben's movie. I'm not directing a movie where the guy was going, had written and was going to write and direct the movie. And then I'm coming in to interfere with his movie. That's just heartbreaking, isn't it? So Matt said, no, I'll do my own Batman movie, but I'm not fucking with the Batman movie. And I think that's what a lot of Snyderverse stans and Batfleck stans don't understand. Matt Reeves acted absolutely properly within this situation. It was right that he didn't want to touch Ben's movie. It was right that he wanted to make his own, the Batman movie. And I know a lot of you have been selling propaganda about the Batman being a flop. The Batman was not a flop, and comparing it with BVS numbers is ridiculous. BVS is a film starring Batman and Superman. That should have made around $2 billion, not 800 $250 million. That should have, Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice should have been a $2 billion movie, $2 billion movie, no question about that. So let's not get it twisted. But forget about all of that. I would absolutely be very supportive about Ben Affleck directing Brave and the Bold. I think it would be a sensational realization. It would be a coming of age for Ben Affleck as a director. And it would be even more fun if Ben Affleck not only directs this movie, but plays a little role in it. I mean, he could play anyone. He could be a new version of one of the Rogues Gallery or somebody else, or Commissioner Gordon. Who knows? But I think if Ben Affleck directs this movie and he's attached to the Brave and the Bold, I think this could be absolutely a brilliant decision by James Gunn. Now, do I think he's doing this to win Snyderverse Stands Over? No. There's no winning the Snyderverse and Batfleck Stands Over. They're never going to forgive James or Warner Brothers for, removing Henry Cavill as Superman, and, the bad way it was all done. Apparently bringing him back, Beard, he was never brought back, it was all bullshit. We discussed that yesterday, right? So there's no forgiveness there. But I think what happens is you can't win the Snyderverse Stands Over, but you can silence them by creating something that becomes successful. The reason, look, James has got this idea to use certain people from the old DCEU to play other roles, to direct movies. So, that's why I wouldn't be surprised at this. When he spoke to Henry Cavill about not being Superman anymore, they were discussing Henry playing another character in this universe. And it wouldn't surprise me if Henry's playing one of the characters, in the Authority kind of team. And that will be interesting. Maybe he plays like a villain this time. Like the Authority are not necessarily got good people within that team. But I don't know the characters very well to talk about the Authority in detail. It is a film I'm very excited about, by the way. So this is the premise that James is working on. Taking actors and maybe directors or whatever, right, from the old DCEU when he can, and like recycling them as other characters, or getting Ben Affleck to actually direct Brave and the Bold would be a very, very good idea. But it could also get him to direct another movie. It doesn't necessarily have to be Brave and the Bold. That's just us adding 2 and 2 together and getting $2 billion. So he could be doing anything. But, Ben's Batman was so popular. Whether you like Snyder's Batman or not, Ben Affleck as Batman works. So it's a very interesting situation. Could it be, in the future, if he does direct Brave and the Bold, that he could still get to do the Batman movie in DC Elseworlds? Not by restoring the Snyderverse, just by doing that film. As I say, Ben Affleck has always been well liked at Warner Brothers. It's clear. He was the first one they went to ask to play a big role, a pivotal role in the Flash movie. They had this idea of multiple Batmen in the Flash movie. I mean, it is weird, but let's look at the Flashpoint story, the graphic novel. You have the OG Batman and you have the Thomas Wayne Batman. So there's 2 Batmen in the original Flashpoint story. So let's look at the Flashpoint movie, the Flash movie. You have the OG Batman in Batfleck, in the main timeline, and then when Barry creates Flashpoint, there's the Michael Keaton Batman. I mean, it's different from the comics, but it's the same amount of Batman. So people crying about this being a Batman movie are crying fake propaganda. 2 Batmen in the Flashpoint graphic novel, 2 Batmen in the Flash movie. So apart from it being different from the type of Batman they are, especially the one in Flashpoint, replacing Thomas Wayne, the OG Thomas Wayne, and replacing him with Michael Keaton's Batman, but they did it because Michael Keaton's Batman is one of the most popular versions of this iconic character in live action. I mean, I saw all the trailer reactions. People went mad when they saw Michael Keaton's Batman. And you haven't seen anything yet. Michael Keaton's Batman is sensational in the Flash movie. He was sensational in Batgirl. He was sensational in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, because I saw that test screening as well. So it's kind of a shame that we're not going to, from all we know, that we're not going to see him in Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. Should I tell you a little secret? With the way Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom is testing, I would actually keep Michael Keaton in that movie. Michael Keaton can get you lots of box office. Michael Keaton is going to get the Flash movie more box office, more butts on seats than that movie would have got without Michael Keaton. That is the selling point of that movie. But plus the Flash movie is a very, very good film. And I think that's where Warner Brothers can, get that $3 billion or some of those $3 billion they're trying to raise. So yeah, Michael Keaton is a huge selling point, and there's no question about that. Do I believe the rumours about Ben Affleck directing Brave and the Bold? It's a possibility. But right now, it could be anyone directing that movie. It could be James Gunn himself. From the outside looking in, if it was up to James Gunn, he would do everything himself. But he's only one person, and he can't do everything himself. And personally, I would absolutely love Ben Affleck to direct Brave and the Bold. This has been Thursday's edition of the DC Universe Daily with me, Mick, here on Movies TV Mad. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection, and I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen!